Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan, aka JC. I am back, and we gotta talk because as we get older, as we get, some of them gray hairs, we get more responsibilities. We gotta pay taxes. We gotta work. Maybe stay up later. Maybe we fall asleep earlier. Gaming tends to get cut off a little bit for me. I'm not saying I'm old, but I'm older than way back in the day. I remember playing Final Fantasy VIII one summer, and I would play that thing for maybe like 8 hours a day. But that was a normal thing. I remember there was one year where I had two games that I basically played the entire time for the PlayStation 2, and that was WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and I believe it was SOCOM 2. If not SOCOM 1, but I'm pretty sure it was SOCOM 2. So I had the perfect mixture of a wrestling game that I could get better at, play the season mode, but I also had SOCOM, which had a pretty solid single-player experience, but it had the awesome online, play. So I had clans, battles, getting better, and I could dedicate basically all of my non-school time with that because who needs socializing? All you need are video games, right? So that used to be me then. Cut to around college time, I definitely played a lot, but it wasn't that much because I actually liked the whole concept of responsibilities. I eventually had a couple of jobs. I had to start traveling a lot, and that's where maybe some portable devices, which I do talk about, portable devices, especially dedicated gaming ones in a previous video. You can definitely check that out. Those things helped, right? But it seemed like definitely it started, with 8 hours of playing a day to like 6 hours to like 4 hours to admittedly, there were a couple times where it was no hours. And then it kicked back up when I started playing a World of Warcraft at some points, MMORPGs. So it's like a roller coaster, right? It changes a lot. That's why I actually went to social media, and the question is as follows. What is your sweet spot for the length of a gaming session? Playing in 30-minute chunks, an hour, 15 minutes? The reason I ask that is because necessarily how long you play doesn't necessarily indicate how much you want to play, if it makes sense, because maybe you come home from work and you're really tired and you don't play, but ideally you would like to get like a 30-minute session in, right? So I have a couple of answers here that I want to bring up. TJ Kinder, for example, wrote like 1 hour chunks or so. Wizard of Gore wrote about 4 hours. Ortiz wrote 30-minute chunks. And I got to say, I'm in that 1 hour thing. Now, there are a lot of factors that come into play, right? I don't think that every genre lends itself to the same kind of experience, especially nowadays where we have roguelike games where you often die a lot, so it's that trial and error, right, and progression. And a lot of times that hooks you up that even though you die a lot and the sessions are technically shorter, you actually end up playing longer because you feel that progression. Whereas maybe like an online game, you play 2 40-minute sessions online of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but maybe you're done. In my case, going back, I found myself that despite, say, we can just remove all of our external things that can maybe consume our, gameplay time. Maybe you're a parent, you have a kid to take care of. Let's say we forget about all of that. Don't neglect your child, please. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying hypothetically, nothing else matters right now. I think for me, it's about an hour. I'd love to know what's that baseline for you. Now, what would I like to do in that hour? I've found that changes a lot because back in the day, my experience was mostly, this is going to be my JRPG day. I remember the last game I played an extensive amount of time was Metal Gear Solid 4. I beat that game the day it came out. I stayed up for 24 hours in a row, 20 hours I think it was, so I could play cutscene the video game. I enjoyed the game, but let's be perfectly honest, it's a 20-hour session. I didn't exactly play 20 hours of that game because it's just a bunch of cutscenes, but I was dedicated to really doing that. Could I do that now? I don't think so. The closest thing I've come to is the Extra Life marathons. We play for the kids and we do all of that. We play 24 hours. I mean, it's crazy. But even then, we need to have the support of our friends and all that because I fall asleep in 2 seconds. You give me a bed, you give me anywhere. I can be standing up right now and falling asleep. I'm just trying to do a miracle and stay up right now. But in that hour now, it's no longer about JRPGs. It's mostly PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's a lot of these, and I don't like saying it, it's a lot of non-story driven games. I used to be the complete opposite. I was in the games for the adventures, for the stories, and I still love those. Like a lot of the games, when I get them, I try to understand the characters and appreciate them. I don't know if it's just something that went off in my head that changed. Maybe as I grow older, my tastes change, but my lapse of attention definitely spans out now, or it becomes reduced, I should say, when a game is starting out, because you see a lot of cliches in games, right? Like a character becomes brainwashed or loses his train of thought, like I am right now. Amnesia. It's like, oh, well, so it's a story of this character that's doing this, and eventually he's going to get the memory back, and he turns out to be a hero, but he doesn't believe in himself. So I played enough games that in the first 5 minutes, I already know I don't care about the story because I've already played a much better version, and the gameplay was much better in another game than possibly this one. Maybe I'll give it a shot, but I don't have a lot of hope. Whereas a game like Overcooked, very good couch co-op game, stress-inducing. The story is basically you're trying to save the world. I don't even know at this point. Does it really matter? It's a fun game to play cooperatively, and I can play that for about an hour. As the difficulty spikes, that hour turns into 10 minutes, which goes all the way back to the main thing of this video, which is it really depends. Do you, and I'm going to answer this for myself as well, say you have 1 hour of gaming sessions, right? A week, you have 1 hour a week or something like that. Do you spend that playing a game that is challenging? Do you spend playing something like a walking simulator? A lot of these games that are so story driven that you can definitely beat them without having to go through this extensive amount of stress and anxiety. I found that myself is the middle ground. It goes back to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's very much a stress-inducing game because of the context of it. You got to watch all sides. You got to survive. You want to get that chicken dinner. You want to at least reach top 10. You're playing single or dual or squad or something like that. But the great thing about that game is that you're not shooting somebody 24/7. There's actually a lot of downtime, and it's almost relaxing that even though 5 minutes from now things can get all sorts of crazy, I really like that balance. And I found myself playing that game for 5 or 6 hours, and I haven't done that ever since Left 4 Dead 1. Which is the other game that I put a lot of hours into. And that right there shows you the lapse of things, that even though I played a lot of games in between, not necessarily have I played all of these games for an extended period of time. So to sum it up, I love playing for about an hour, maybe 30 minutes. If I play more than one time that day, I try to actually do have that 30-minute span. Why? It makes me want the game a lot more. I think that one of the biggest challenges is that when you play too much of a game in a row in one session or two a day, or you finish the game immediately almost just for the sake of doing it, I don't think you're able to digest every little element about that game. The graphics, the sound, the story, the actual story of how that game came to be developed, right? There's a lot of layers you can really take a look at. And when you're just rushing through something, sometimes that's not all that great. When you have a movie, you're getting something presented to you. All you can do is sit there, watch and analyze, but that's really it. You can watch it again, get a little bit more details, but it's going to be the exact same movie. With a game, that first time is really important because afterwards, at least I found myself, you just go through the motions because you're just trying to progress. There's a lot of old games where I go and I skip the dialogue because I'm I just want to remember this specific room in a game, but you don't give me an option to just go into it, right? And I found myself that I get burnt out like that. Whereas going back to the 30 minutes, it's you play and it's almost like a TV episode, right? It's ending and it's oh, I want more. You know what? I'll take a 2-hour break. I can tweet about this. I can ask people about it. I can digest what happened. I can think about these characters. And when I come back, I'm let's do it, man. I'm ready for round 2. So are you ready for round 2 of your games? How long do you like playing your games? How much would you like to play your games? Definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you have any topics you would like me to talk about or cover down the line, definitely let me know in the comments as well. If you're a first-time watcher, this is not my traditional setup. I live in Puerto Rico. We were deeply affected by Hurricane Maria. I'm still currently, as of this recording, without electricity. Currently at Nicole, who's my wife, at her parents' house, who do have electricity, so I can do something like this because I truly love building a community through Twitch, through YouTube, through social media. So don't forget to follow me on social media, EpicGC, on both Twitter and Facebook. So until next time, thank you for watching, and don't forget, folks, that the epic journey definitely continues. Thanks for watching, gang. Take care.